Blue 58! Blue 58!
Welcome to the Morning Blitz with John Abraham, Captain Cool, and the bandy man Bailey Lowry. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Captain Cool.
Hello and welcome in, everybody. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the bandy man Bailey Lowry. And let me tell you, it is good to be back on the air. Yesterday was absolutely ridiculous.
So but I guess you guys had to improvise, huh? You had to improvise like we did.
We did, yeah. And thankfully,
do it through the roadcaster.
And Scott told us actually a way to do it with ads and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, on YouTube.
He definitely had
YouTube and X. Thank goodness for him. And Zone 2.
Yeah, he definitely threw some help our way, but we definitely got a lot to talk about. I mean, we got the schedules for the SEC 2 days ago, and we haven't got to talk with you about it, Drew, but I know you've been dissecting everything you can about these schedules, especially Alabama's, and it's being looked at currently as a very difficult schedule for an Alabama team that, honestly, I think is going to be able to have a pretty nice time. It's just another year in the SEC, Drew.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a very interesting year next year with the expanded playoff and the new SEC. I mean, certainly Alabama's schedule is going to be very challenging. I think probably of the ones I looked at, I think that the Gators probably have the most challenging schedule. Florida's schedule is extremely challenging. And because not just because of who they play within the league, but they also play Miami first. They play UCF under Gus Malzahn, and they still play Florida State at the end of the season. So Billy Napier's in must-win mode right now. Alabama has to play at the end of the year instead of the usual cupcake. They get the cupcake, in the last third of the season. Their second to last, opponent will be Mercer at home. But then instead of, having the usual, then the Iron Bowl with Auburn, you got it's a 3-game stretch where you have Mercer, then you have Oklahoma and Norman, which are a tough road trip on the 23rd, and then you host Auburn on the 30th. So it will be a much more interesting, finale last part of the month for Alabama. A lot of people don't even like those games, those cupcake games at the end. They're going to play one, but it's just going to be 2 weeks before the Iron Bowl instead of the usual week. And so that's going to be interesting because Alabama's also got to go to Wisconsin in the first month. That'll be their first road game. Luke Fickell in the second year. They'll have Tyler Van Dyke at quarterback. They're going to have to go to Tennessee, which is never going to be easy to play the Vols, and the Vols will be smarting after taking their ass whipping this year in the second half, 27-0. When they thought they had already, printed their shirts and were already riding Nick Saban off into the sunset, not so fast.
Now a bunch of kids in Indonesia or some crazy country are wearing those shirts that we were talking about. You see those sometimes show up in Goodwill and all that.
Maybe Phil Fulmer sold them at his yard sale. I don't know, but. To raise money for for himself, considering what a piece of trash he is. Yeah. But anyway, I mean, it's a tough schedule, no question for Alabama. I think Florida's is probably the toughest, but I think when you go back and look at it, Alabama's is probably second. It's going to still be weird though because neither Alabama nor Auburn, for the first time since anyone can remember, they're not going to play either Ole Miss or Mississippi State. Very strange with this new league with with Oklahoma and Texas joining. You're not going to play Ole Miss. You're not going to play State. So it's very, very interesting. It's going to be new, but it's going to be challenging. It's going to be exciting. More Eastern flavor on the schedule now for Alabama. So it's going to be interesting. And another thing that I'm very interested in is, guys, less than a week now. I mean, only in a few days. Next Wednesday, we've been previewing the Huntsville City Classic, but this coming Wednesday is going to be National Signing Day. So there's going to be a lot of focus on recruiting. It's the last major weekend before the dead period goes into effect on Sunday night at midnight. And Alabama's got a big weekend coming up of visitors. Now we'll see. There's always seems to be guys that show up that aren't supposed to or you don't expect. But right now they've got 3 portal targets coming in, which are and they seem to be looking for a guy to come in as an edge rusher because they're losing both their guys. Losing Dallas Turner to SEC Defensive Player of the Year. They're losing Chris Braswell, who's a former 5-star who's coming to his own this year. Had another strong senior season. A guy that could end up sneaking into the first round. But they've got some 24 targets coming in for visits because right now Alabama's got a running back room with, if you want to be technical, all 5 of them could return. Now we don't expect that because we went into the season believing Jace McClellan would move on after the year. Roydell Williams could theoretically move on as well. You've got young players like sophomore Jam Miller be going into his junior year. You've got the guy that I think everybody believes could be the next superstar. As far as what I call him Hobnail Boot Jr. because it's Justice Haynes. He's shown flashes, and you've even got a former 5-star in Richard Young, who's a freshman, who's played just a little bit. So you have those 5 guys could all return. I think at least 3 of them will be back. A couple of the 2 top guys at the top of the depth chart, Roydell Williams and Jace McClellan, could move on. We'll see. But Alabama doesn't have a running back in the recruiting class because they've been selective, because they had a depth chart with a lot of guys with the ability to return. I think they want to sign at least 1. And 2 of the big targets that are coming in for them, Kevin Riley from Tuscaloosa County in their backyard. He's committed to Miami, but he's coming in for a last-minute visit this weekend. And the guy that I'm really watching, he's an Arkansas commit, but as we know, Arkansas has had a lot of staff turnover, even though Sam Pittman's returning. This young man's from Decatur, Georgia. His name is Jaden Baugh, and if you've watched his film, big-time guy. He's a 4-star, but he looks like a 5-star talent to me. And I've been impressed with him because he's also played defense situationally, but his ability to run and catch is really nice, really explosive guy. And he's coming in this weekend. He's already visited Florida last weekend. If Alabama pushes here, I think they can get Jaden Baugh. To me, I would probably sign 1 back. I know they could, considering that Roydell and Jace could both leave, they could sign 2. I don't expect that, though, because I think what you're really trying to do is retain Jam Miller, Justice Haynes, and Richard Young. You don't want them transferring after the playoff. So I would expect Alabama to add 1 running back. I'm hoping it'll be Jaden Baugh. But Jaden Baugh and Kevin Riley are both going to visit. Red Morgan, a safety commit from state champion Central of Phoenix City, is going to visit as well. And then another guy to watch on commitment, and flip watching, I guess, but really I don't guess he's ever really committed anywhere. He's from the state of Missouri, but he never committed to the Tigers. He's from Liberty North High School in Kansas City. It's Sean Ross. He's an edge player because Alabama signed 3 guys last year that were 5-star talents as far as edge players: Yanze Pierre, Quay Russaw, and of course probably their highest rated recruit in Keon Keeley. All 3 of those guys basically redshirted this year, did not play much, but they'd like to add 1 edge. They don't have an edge commitment either. Sean Ross, Solomon Williams are 2 guys to watch. I think they really like Ross, though. They've been very actively pursuing him in this month of December. So Sean Ross has also already officially visited for LSU, but he's paying his own dime to come back this weekend. So to me, he would be another guy to watch as far as maybe a commitment to add before next Wednesday. And then Jay Lindsey will also be visiting. He's already flipped from Mississippi State to Alabama. He's a tight end prospect from Butler, Alabama. But again, I just think that the guys to watch in the high school visitors to maybe be added to the class, I would watch Jaden Baugh. I would watch Kevin Riley, also Sean Ross, of the handful of those guys that are slated to be in Tuscaloosa. And then also, I mentioned portal targets. Alabama hasn't been real active in bringing guys on campus until this weekend from the transfer portal. All 3 of them are edge-type players. One could be a defensive end, in L.T. Overton from Texas A&M, who reclassified a couple years ago as a 5-star prospect. L.T. Overton has already visited South Carolina. He's going to be in Tuscaloosa this weekend. I would watch him and his teammate Fidel Diggs is also coming in from Texas A&M. He's got 8 sacks in his career. 4 of them were against Alabama, so they saw him up close. But he's from New Jersey, and he's also going to visit Syracuse on Sunday. So I still would say, if I had to be a betting man, that Fidel Diggs would end up going back home. His former defensive line coach is now the DC at Syracuse. So I think, with the coaching carousel, you guys have talked about it a little bit. Elijah Robinson was the interim head coach at A&M, but he's now the defensive coordinator under Fran Brown at Syracuse. So Fidel Diggs, I would still lean toward him ending up in Syracuse. And then the other guy to watch, the one that's most intriguing to me, Texas San Antonio. He's a group of 5 guy, but his name is Trey Moore. He canceled a visit with Ohio State to come to Alabama. He's had, I think, 22 sacks in the last 2 years. He had 14 this year and I think 8 the year before. Really good group of 5 player that's been under the radar. They could be like a Trey Amos, could come to Alabama and compete in the SEC and enhance his draft stock going into his junior year. So some very intriguing visitors, guys, coming into Tuscaloosa as we talk a little recruiting. I know lately we've just been talking football, we've been talking high school basketball, but I know we really consider this also a recruiting blitz segment.
Yeah.
And I wanted to kind of preview Alabama's visitors weekend coming up.
Yeah, and that was the recruiting news that I like to hear from the one and only D Squared, a.k.a. Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball. But it's definitely setting up for a lot of things that we can talk about next week. But one thing that we can't talk about as much of next week is going to be, previewing this Jacksonville State versus Louisiana game. And I just want you to preview it real quick. I mean, it's coming up, but Louisiana is a 2.5-point underdog in this matchup.
It's flipped.
And how big is it, though, for Jax State to come into, this FBS world and, get into a bowl game and push themselves to getting a win in their first year?
It would be huge. I mean, this is their first full-time season in Conference USA. What Rich Rod has done in 2 years, he went 9-2 his first year. This year, getting them in their first full year in Conference USA, they're near the top of the standings. They finished behind undefeated Liberty. But Jax State nearly knocked off New Mexico State, played them better than Auburn did, if you just want to be technical, because they ended up, I think, losing the game 20-17 on the road at New Mexico State. But they didn't reach the Conference USA championship game, but they did have a really good first year in FBS competition. They were able to get to a bowl game. They're playing Louisiana. It's swung from a 1.5-point underdog to a 2.5-point favorite. Zion Webb will be playing his last game. He's a 7th-year guy at quarterback for Jacksonville State. They've also got Logan Smothers, who transferred from Nebraska, he played for both Athens and Muscle Shoals. So they've both been the QBs for Jax State, and certainly they've got Malik Jackson, who's an outstanding running back. It would be cool for them. They've got some older guys that have been in that program 6 and 7 years who have returned, including Zion, who has 2 kids and is married, by the way, and like I was joking, would be on Social Security by the time he got done. But certainly it's remarkable what Jacksonville State has done in year 1 under Rich Rod, and to kind of put the cherry on top of the sundae, if they can win their first bowl game in the New Orleans Bowl, how huge would it be for now the rebranded Jax State, because that's what they're now, Jax State.
Yeah.
But it would be huge for Greg Seitz and that athletic department, man. I mean, he's a great guy, athletic director. He used to be the sports information, the SID there, worked his way up, but they've certainly put a ton of money into this program. They're still continuing to improve those facilities. A couple of weeks ago on Talking Ball, we had Rich Rod on right after it was announced they were going to the bowl. They're very excited about it. He loves where they are from a recruiting standpoint and how they're handling the transfer portal and also high school players, because again, they're in a still pretty strong position, because you got guys moving down from the portal who want to play, want to get on the field, and then there's a lot of high school players that are maybe slipping through the cracks that aren't getting recruited by these Power 5 schools that can end up at a group of 5 schools, which is what Jacksonville State is now. So they're getting off to a great start. It actually took them longer to get traction when they moved from being a power, and by the way, shout out and prayers to them this week. They lost Bill Burgess, their national championship winning head coach, who won it all in 92 and did a great job in 12 years there at Jacksonville State. They were a power in Division II. It took them a few more years to get their traction and become a power in the FCS, which they did. But now they put tons of millions upon millions of dollars. I know before they're undergoing another phase of renovations now, but I know several years ago they put around $80 million into their facilities. Their campus is beautiful. I've been there many times, and we know they were affected by the tornado a few years ago, but they rebuilt Pete Matthews Coliseum. Their baseball fields and facilities are outstanding, and now they've been putting a lot of money into Snow Burgess Field over there. Their football facilities. So again, Jacksonville State in a really good place, and it would be huge if they could beat Louisiana. Louisiana's had a lot of success. We know Billy Napier was there, and they basically they were running the Sun Belt Conference. But again, they're still a really good group of 5 program, and if Jack State can get that done on Saturday, and that would give them tons of momentum going into the offseason into year 3 for Rich Rod.
Yeah, for sure about that. And it being the New Orleans Bowl, Louisiana is literally a home team in this matchup, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see how
Jack State comes out, though.
There's definitely a lot of crowd.
I know they've been promoting it, and I bet you they got a lot of people making that drive to what's better than to just spend a weekend in New Orleans and have some great food and see some great football.
For sure about that. Good stuff from Drew DeArmond from Talking Ball, presented by Mercury Motors and Alumni Hall. We got to hop into a break. When we come back, we're going to be getting into the wacky underdog picks and everything else that we have slated.
Jack State when they were the underdog. They're not anymore, though.
They're not the underdog anymore. Either way, we got to hop into a break. Don't go anywhere because you're listening to the Morning Blitz here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Drowning in IRS debt? If you can't afford to pay your IRS debt due to economic hardship, you can now be free of IRS collection efforts by taking advantage of a special IRS tax hardship program. This program allows Americans who owe the IRS to resolve their delinquent tax debt once and for all. In some cases, maybe even reducing what you owe significantly. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Simply dial 800-251-2305. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back or have years of unfiled tax returns, help is standing by. Just call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-251-2305 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-251-2305 to see if you qualify. That's 800-251-2305.
With us today, Dr. Tracy Lowry of Best Vein Care of Huntsville.
When we evaluate a patient and they indeed have significant venous disease, most third-party payers, private insurance, Medicare, require us to treat every patient conservatively at least 90 days. Conservative treatment includes increasing ambulation, elevation of the legs, and the wearing of compression stockings. It's very common for folks to come see us in March or April wanting to have their veins fixed before they go into swimsuits starting in June. When we see someone in March or April, they're going to require at least 90 days of conservative treatment before we can even go to the insurance carrier to get permission to treat their veins. So if you think you have a venous problem, now is the time to come in and get a free screening so we can determine whether or not you need something evaluated. If you have a vein problem or you think you may have a vein problem, now's the time to contact us at bestveincarehuntsville.com.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Injuries at work happen all the time in Alabama. So do motor vehicle and slip and fall accidents. If you're hurt at work or injured in an accident, I want you to call my good friends at Pond Lehocky Giordano. That's Pond Lehocky, Alabama's injury law firm. They got your back just like they've got mine. For personalized legal support, reach out to Pond Lehocky at 855-774-3838 or pondlehocky.com.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Touchdown, Alabama!
Hi,
this is Eli Gold, voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Join us every week for Alabama football right here.
Listen to Alabama football all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the Bandy Man Bailey Lowry here on a fun Friday in no man's land. We got a lot to get into, and I could start on the mollywhopping that was last night's Thursday night football game.
Oh my God.
Horrendous. We're definitely going to be talking a little bit about that outside of obviously the main thing that we're going to get into today, which is those wacky underdog picks, which we had a lot. We had a lot of shakeup in the rankings. Now, Bandy, I want to apologize, okay? I want to apologize, and I'll have the sound later, or if you can pull it up from last Thursday's show. John also slipped in his own pick, and it matched Wolverine Dan's pick. It was very smart of him to pick what Wolverine Dan was picking because obviously Wolverine Dan knows what he's talking about, you know? He picked the Titans over the Dolphins, and it hit. Both Wolverine Dan and John both got 14 points towards the wacky underdog pick. So I can't say that Wolverine Dan is number 2 anymore, but I can say that he's in the top 3, and he is just breathing down the neck of that 2 and 1 spot. So, Bandy, on the neighbors, on the hotline, is one Mr. Wolverine Dan. Wolverine Dan, how you doing, man?
Well, gentlemen, quite well. I've got a little take before I do my pick, or
okay.
Maybe you guys could look at the research there and tell me which one's got the biggest number.
I got you.
And then I will, in turn, I'm going to talk to you about my little discussion here in the morning, which is this. So Alabama picks up an ex-linebacker coach from Michigan Wolverines, George Hillo, all right? And I wanted to let you all know he's a spy.
He's the spy.
He's the spy?
He's
not Connor Stallions, he's the spy?
He's the guy they got rid of.
No. He's going to be a spy, okay? So I'm saying this out because I told you I don't think we really have a chance to win this, but if we win it, I guarantee you they're going to say that guy's a spy or we had a spy. They should be not a victory because NCAA should ban them, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So again, I've said before on the radio, you've heard me, that the wrong team is favored, okay? So let's just leave it at that. But the bottom line is this, that George is a spy.
I mean,
look.
Whose fault really is it, though? Is it the NCAA's fault for allowing teams to pick up other coaches, like, at this time? I mean, it's similar to the transfer portal. I mean, the transfer portal's wide open. Kids are going and visiting other schools that are still playing. I mean, does this open up another concern to what the NCAA is doing with the transfer portal still going on during the season?
Well, I'm not really concerned. I say this in jest, and that's why I bring it up, because I like to poke the how do I say it, the big elephant in the room.
Oh yeah.
But you know what? That's okay, guys. You know, either way, I'm a happy guy. I'm in the playoffs. If I win, fine, wonderful.
Yeah.
And you know, actually, how satisfying the win would be to me. It would mean more to me to beat Bama than win the national championship.
Wow. I mean, what would you rather have? Okay, would you rather have the Wolverines beating Alabama in this game, or would you rather have a Super Bowl victory for your Detroit Lions?
Well, I'll change it a little bit. Your bet. I would rather have the Lions win the NFC Championship because that's as far as I bet them. Okay. I didn't go to the Super Bowl with them.
Okay.
They're going to win their division this weekend probably, or the next game at least. And or there's 2 games, and I've already won, as you already know, the Kansas City game. I bet straight up. I won that, and then now it's going to be the division champion, which I think we're going to get.
Yeah.
And I would go NFC Championship. I won't go as far as the Super Bowl if I had a choice between the two. You know, you got to take the cash. I got some money laid down. So
there you go.
I'll go with the Lions, but still, fellas, that's how much it means to me. So. And it doesn't upset me if I lose because the wrong team is favored, and Bama's won the past several years. So you know it is what it is, and it's Nick Saban. So you know I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Okay, so let's do this underdog pick. What do you got?
All right, so the biggest spread that I'm seeing is actually coming from the NFL, and it's going to be that 12.5-point spread. The Cardinals are going to be hosting the 49ers. And then, of course, I mean, you look over in the college bowl games, we have ×2 on all of those ones, but I mean, they're going to add up to probably around the same 12.5 points.
Oh, ×2. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
So,
×2 on the bowl games.
Is all the bowl games or just this week's bowl game?
That's just this week's bowl games. None of them are going to be over a 10-point spread, at least, if we're just doing it by one. So with ×2, you might get a few of these games going over 10. So
you say that. I'm seeing a -6.5 for Florida A&M.
Well, that's what I'm meaning. If you ×2 it, I mean, it's going to be over it. So
yeah, that's 12. That's 13 for you.
Bandy, what game is that?
Howard and Florida A&M. You would have to take Howard.
What the heck? You're looking at the FCS games.
Hey, I'm looking at ESPN. That is the Cricket Celebration Bowl, my friend.
Well, Wolverine Dan, you want to pick a Howard game over Florida A&M?
It counts.
I like Howard Stern. Not a problem.
All right. Okay, so we did have John pick Holy Cross earlier on the season. So this is the first time we're really going this deep into the college football world. So
Holy Cross, I don't think they're allowed to have a spread.
Yeah, they were not allowed. But these are two teams going up against each other, two FCS teams going up against each other. So Bandy definitely put them down. Or are they Ivy League teams? I don't know exactly. There's just a whole jumble of them.
Howard Stern's fine.
Okay, he's going with Howard Stern. All right, Bandy, put that one down. Save it because I will forget that one.
I enjoy the program as usual. You know, you're a chip off the old block, my friend. And your daddy is almost like a little brother to me.
Oh, I appreciate it, and he's like a father to me.
All right, man. All right, yeah. I'll see you later.
See you, buddy. Good stuff, Wolverine Dan. Howard versus Florida A&M. I didn't have this one pulled up, okay? I had the main FBS bowl games pulled up. I got the Georgia Southerns versus the Ohios. I guess that the Florida, I don't know. I guess that it's more entertaining since the spread's a little bit bigger, but I'm really just trying to get somebody to pick that Cardinals game. What did John pick yesterday? I think he picked the Cardinals over the 49ers. He's looking for those big spreads. I don't know.
I thought I heard him talking about bringing up the Giants.
No. Oh yeah, he did. Tommy DeVito. I keep almost saying Danny DeVito. Either way,
DeVito.
I know we're gonna keep
Tommy
on.
Cutlets.
We're gonna keep on churning through these wacky underdog picks. Bandy, who do we got now?
We got Jason on the flow hotline. What's going on, Jason?
The leader.
Yeah, how we doing this morning?
Hey, we're doing wonderful, man. Okay, you got 17.5 points. I just want you to know, though, that John is sitting right behind you at 17 points. This is how close it's gotten. 14 points he got from Tennessee beating the Dolphins. What heat are you going to throw at him this week, though?
Oh, I'm going to throw heat at John, and I'm going to give the Wolverine diarrhea. I got the perfect pick to do that. I am picking the Denver Broncos and the points against the Lions.
Okay, there you go. I mean, I wanted some NFL picks because anything can happen in the NFL. That is 4.5 points. That's good enough to at least extend this lead to where John might not be able to, get a hold of him. So you're picking the.
I mean, Denver's won like 4 or 5 games in a row.
Yeah, Denver's been on a roll as of late. They've been looking really good, and honestly, this is going to be a really good matchup against the Detroit Lions. Because, I mean, you look at Jared Goff, what he's been doing on offense, throwing a lot of interceptions. They've kind of been struggling. It's still a good offense, okay? But they've been struggling, and the Broncos have been on the opposite end of that, really heating up. And now we're behind, really, the Chiefs in their division. So definitely an interesting team to look at, and definitely an interesting underdog in this game. So good pick.
Yeah. Detroit they have a good team, but they got a backup quarterback running the team. That's Detroit. If Detroit ever gets the quarterback, they would be dangerous. That's what's keeping them out of the league right now.
Yeah, well, I can't really, back for Jared Goff too much, but at times he does look like a backup quarterback. But maybe he'll be like a Joe Flacco in the future, where he goes to a Super Bowl and then he kind of just evens out throughout the rest of his career. Either way, good stuff, Jason. Anything else you want to talk about before we get you out of here, brother?
No, that's guys. Y'all have a good holiday. I don't holler at you next week.
Of course.
Thank you, man. You too, brother.
Good stuff. Jason, our leader for quite some time in the wacky underdog picks. This guy hits on quite a bit of interesting ones as well.
Hey, largely uncontested throughout most of you after getting those first couple picks, and now, hey, in the span of a week, 2 people right there.
Yeah. And on top of that, I mean, Wolverine Dan's right behind them. I mean, this is the amazingness if that's a word, about the Wacky Underdog picks. Whenever it gets down to the wire, everybody's throwing in their picks. This is when the games get a little wacky. At the end of the season, teams are getting a little sluggish. In college football, we got the bowl games. Nobody knows who's going to win because nobody knows who's even the quarterback of some of these teams. That's the type of intrigue we get from these games. We got to hop into a break, Bandy. I went over. When we come back, you guys can hop in. We might talk about the Deion Sanders class that's going on in Colorado. And we might also hop into some of the worst blowouts we've seen in NFL history. So don't go anywhere, because you're listening to the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Take the guesswork out of your holiday gifts. OmahaSteaks.com for 50% off site-wide and save an additional $30 with promo code VSIN. OmahaSteaks.com.
He's going to throw. Eyeing down the middle. Now pressure off the edge. And drilled from behind. Ball is out. Coach with the sack. And big man running. John Jenkins is going to score.
John Jenkins with the 44-yard fumble return touchdown for the Raiders in last night's 63-21 win over the Chargers. The action on the Raiders radio network. The Raiders set a franchise scoring record. They had 42 points by halftime and didn't let the Chargers cross midfield until the third quarter. Vegas was a 2.5-point favorite heading in. LA was plus 140. The Raiders minus 145. The over-under was 36.5. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
This is Wes Neighbors sitting here with Philip Love of not only Eagle Insulation, now he represents Eagle Companies. Eagle through the years have added several companies to help individuals or builders through their construction renovation process. Eagle is known to represent quality, efficiency, and professionalism. Philip, I know you do insulation, but do you do masonry?
We do.
Do you do grading, erosion control, and dirt hauled off?
We do.
Do you do after paint, which includes shower doors, mirrors, shelving blinds, and bath hardware?
Yes, we do, Wes.
Do you do landscaping and irrigation?
Yes, we do.
So basically, Eagle can help you all along your process of building your house or doing renovations. So do you do plumbing?
We do not, Wes, but we can find somebody to do it.
Just give them time. They'll be there. Anyway, call Eagle Insulation at
256-755-1556.
Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money. Call Eagle today.
Thanks, Wes.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopé. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
This will turn journalism on its ear.
Watch our stream on WZZN TV on Twitch and YouTube.
But you are the greatest hero in American history.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Hello and welcome back in. A fun Friday here in No Man's Land. John Abraham, Captain Cool, alongside the bandy man, Bailey Lowry.
What's going on, Captain Cool?
I'm thinking about going back to school, Bandy.
Really?
I'm thinking
Really
about
now?
finishing up. Obviously, I finished. Okay. I finished, Bandy. All right. I'm thinking about going back, though. All right, and I'm thinking the school that I want to try and get in is the University of Colorado.
Really now?
Yeah.
You hitting the transfer portal?
Well, yeah, I think there's a few radio stations out there that might take me. And I'm thinking about getting my degree in Prime-otology. I think Prime-otology is going to be what I get my master's in.
Wait a minute, Prime-otology?
Yeah, Prime-otology.
Prime-otology.
It's a thing. It's a thing. CMC1 or CMCI 4021. Primetime, Public Performance and Leadership. That's right, Colorado is offering a course that makes you be like the Prime himself, Deion Sanders. Oh my gosh, this course will focus on helping college athletes explore how to manage their time in college, prepare for career, manage their celebrity, identify when best to speak into their profit center, advocate for worthy causes, coordinate with sports agents, and how to interact with journalists and the media.
Okay, I'm already seeing a couple key things here.
I gotta play a sport though, Bandy. I'm thinking curling's the way to go.
Curling?
Yeah, I've been working on it. You know what I'm saying? Sweeping up the house.
Want to try to put on your old jersey again, try to get in that wide receiver slot?
Dude, I literally
get thrown some darts by Shaheem.
I gotta tell you, man. I watched some of these.
Shador
mic'd up.
Sanders is a different player. I think he plays in the NBA. What am I? Yeah, Shador.
I was watching some of these mic'd up clips, and I was thinking, like, dang, if I just tried a little bit harder, if I just kept at it, I could have probably got to the NFL. And then I thought about how my size compares to some of these freak athletes on the field. Tyreek Hill is shorter than me. But if I got onto the field next to him, he would probably still be taller than me. That's the thing. There's a difference between, us normal people and those superstars that are in the NFL. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then there's guys like Aiden O'Connell, who were pretty much, guys that should have given up at one point because they were like 9th string quarterbacks on Purdue. Okay? He fights his way back. He gets the starting position. He plays a few games. And you know what? He goes on to absolutely obliterate an NFL team. Absolutely place a murder ball on them in prime time. Bandy, the Raiders last night scored the most points they've ever scored in a first half in franchise history. In the entire game, they were able to also break the record with not only just a backup quarterback, who needs Jimmy G? But also with an interim head coach in Antonio Pierce.
Oh, and by the way, no Josh Jacobs.
No Josh Jacobs. Thank you, Bandy. You added that one in. Now, they were playing up against Ethan Stick, the 5-year backup quarterback that made his first start last night. But, it wasn't all his fault. He still showed some athleticism.
It wasn't all bad. I mean, he still threw for, 257, 23 at 32.
It doesn't matter. It's all overshadowed by the 4 touchdowns that Aiden O'Connell threw down and the 9 touchdowns combined.
Actually, wait a minute.
That the Raiders scored.
It's also overshadowed on their own side, on their own team, by the 5 fumbles that they had.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. They fumbled it a billion times. And 2 of those fumbles ended up leading to touchdowns. Scoop and scores.
Yep.
Chargers looked absolutely terrible last night. Everybody wants their coach fired. I'm all for it. And I think Antonio Pierce should have a legit chance at actually being the coach of this football team. I know. Okay, I know. He has not won a lot of games with this football team. But whenever you drop 62, how many was it? 63 points on a team?
63 points, 42 in the first half.
Golly.
Yeah, no, I'm starting to see.
Just get some eyeballs.
I'm starting to see how much Justin Herbert impacts his team.
For sure about that, yeah, for sure. Justin Herbert, he's one of the best. The stats that he's put up in his first few seasons, gotta say, pretty legit. Okay, and now seeing the Chargers without him, Ethan Stick having to play. Oh my gosh, it doesn't even look like an NFL team. Look, we've already had a blowout of huge proportions this season. We didn't think we'd get another one, especially not on prime time. The Dolphins beat the Broncos 70-20. Mind you, the Broncos are actually turning things around. We even just had Jason pick the Broncos to beat the Lions a second ago. What world are we living in? So maybe there's a chance that the Chargers could turn things around going into the end of the season. It doesn't matter. Because your season is stained with this loss. You're not playing up against the best offense in the NFL in the Miami Dolphins, okay? This isn't early in the season where you're still trying to figure things out. The season's almost over. And you let a team put 63 points on you. And you know what? It's not that bad when you look at these other blowouts. By the way, 256-5764, 97.7 is the number to call in. Don't worry, Bandy. Don't worry. If you guys want to jump in, talk about some of the wacky underdog picks, and maybe defend your Los Angeles Chargers. I don't know, how many Los Angeles fans we have out here, but, if we were fans of the team whenever they were in San Diego, LT was playing, then maybe you got a reason to like them. It's not the worst, though. We've seen some bad blowouts before. It's some worse than even, the game that happened earlier in the season where the Dolphins put 70 up on the Broncos. The Chiefs, back in 1966, back when the Super Bowl era was just now being born, put up 56 on the Broncos, who had 10 points. The Cowboys put up 59 on the Lions, who got 13. 2004, the Chiefs did it again. They said 56 to the Falcons, who scored 10. Why not? This one's good, too. When the Bills sucked, okay, remember these days, when the Bills sucked and Ryan Fitzpatrick was their starting quarterback, and then, we don't know who their last quarterback was since then. Patriots beat the Bills 56-10. Oilers beat the Bears 47-0. Jets beat the Rams 47-0. That was probably the only time the Jets have ever blown a team out, and that was when Brett Favre was on the team. And you know what they did with that? They wasted that opportunity.
Yeah, they really did.
Then my Browns are on here multiple times. Vikings beat them 51-3. It gets pretty bad. The shutouts are the worst, though. 48-0. Jaguars over the Browns in 2000. I remember this one. Well, actually, it might not even be on this list, but it was whenever the Titans and the Patriots went up against each other when it was snowing like crazy.
Yep.
And I believe the Patriots put up 55 on the Titans. They scored literally no points at all. And it's got to be, it was probably the day that I said, I really like the Oilers gear, and I'm a Tennessee fan because I lived in the state of Tennessee, but I don't think I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. I don't think I can do this. I already got to deal with the Browns. I don't have to deal with this bull crap as well. So I just totally had to get out. And you know what? Thankfully I did. Now the Titans beating the Dolphins, it makes me think. I still root for them on the down low, Mandy, but definitely not a team that I'm rocking all the time, wearing the gear and all that stuff. But either way, I do want to remind you, because we haven't really talked about it too much, there are quarterbacks making the move in the transfer portal. One of those names was one of the top guys in college football, even though he was a second stringer. Aiden Childs has committed to Michigan State. He was obviously behind DJ Ulalega, and he didn't really get too many starts. So, we didn't get to see too much from him. But what we did see from him was a lot of talent. This guy was really fast. He's the type of quarterback that a lot of college football teams are looking for, okay? And he's on his way to Michigan State, playing in the Big Ten. Maybe Michigan State can be a little bit more competitive next season. Maybe. Also, something that makes me extremely happy, even though it's probably not going to happen, Kyle McCord is paying a visit to the Big Orange. Which Big Orange am I talking about? Not Tennessee. I'm talking about Syracuse, baby. We're talking about Syracuse.
Okay.
Look, I love all the things that, Syracuse was able to do last season, except for when they're not good.
See, I've actually wanted to ask you about that.
Yeah.
Where did this love for Syracuse come from? Because, you got the Cleveland Browns.
Okay.
You got a lot of these teams.
Okay.
Now here for Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever we watch football together, and we cut to the Syracuse game, you would be all in on Syracuse.
Syracuse! Well, Benny.
So how'd that come about?
Tell me this. How many New York college football teams do you know? Exactly. There's not too many good ones.
Well, I mean, you talking about college or the NFL?
I'm talking about college, okay? Because I'm a fan of the Buffalo Bills when it comes to the NFL. I'm not talking too much about any of these other college football teams.
Does New York College have a team?
I don't know. That's the thing. Even if New York College did have a team, they're probably not, D1 playing up against the likes of other, ACC teams and all that stuff. Army West Point, the Black Knights, yes, are from New York. They're in New York. That's awesome. I love them. It's good. They're on our station. You can listen to them. They beat Navy. It's wonderful. You go down the list, though, Bandy, I'm not rooting for Buffalo. I'm not rooting for Wagner College. I'm not rooting for, I keep saying roofing, Stony Brook University? I'm telling you. I mean, there's just college football in New York is not a thing, okay? Except for with Syracuse.
Okay.
And even with Syracuse, they're not good. That's why I'm a fan of Syracuse, because they're slightly better than the rest of the teams in there. Mind, Army West Point. I do like Army West Point. They have sick uniforms.
Hey, fair enough. I got a soft spot for the Utes.
Yeah. The Utah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I like the Utah Utes as well. Either way, we got to hop into a break. You guys still have a chance to get in your wacky underdog picks for that Gunners Landing prize at the end of the football season. Guys, it's a party of 2. You get a cart for free. Bandy knows those cart fees are not cheap. But you get a party of 2 at Gunners Landing, and you guys will be able to play some golf at a really nice golf course just a little bit down the road. But we got to hop into a break. 256-5764
97.7
is the number to hop into this programming before we get out of here to enjoy our weekends. So don't go anywhere because you're listening to the Morning Blitz on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. If you've been injured and need a lawyer right now, and pick up the phone to call, one you've seen on a billboard or on TV begging for your business, do you know who you really get?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. You want to talk to your lawyer. You don't want to reach a call center, not in some office 100 miles away. With the Lackey Law Firm, that never happens. My clients talk to me.
And me. I'm attorney Justin Lackey. We're the ones that you talk to. We're the ones that you meet with.
And we're the ones who handle your personal injury case. You want to talk to me? You just call me.
And we'll take care of it. You worry about getting well. We'll take care of the rest.
The Lackey Law Firm.
And I'll go you one better. If you can't come to us, we'll come to you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Not looking or feeling your best? No energy for the things you like to do? Ready to look and feel younger? Make your appointment at Advanced Life Clinic, one of the region's foremost destinations for patients interested in looking and feeling their best. Specializing in advanced laser treatments and weight loss, male and female rejuvenation to offset the effects of aging, and more. See how Advanced Life Clinic can help you enjoy your life again. Call 256-882-6555 or log on at advancedlifeclinic.com.
This process is all about talking ball.
Listen to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond.
What did they want privacy for? To just start talking ball.
Every weekday morning, wake up with Scott and Drew. It's Talkin' Ball. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sorry it took me so long to get over here. Bandy was telling me about his conquests in the video gaming world. I'd love to hear about all of it.
My conquests.
He's talking about this game called...
Hey, play the game of the year called Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate 3, okay? I didn't even know there were 2 before it. I'm going to be honest.
I didn't know either, actually.
Maybe we got to try and go and find those. Maybe they're on like the Linux. I'm thinking the Linux. I mean, maybe this game's been in development forever, and that's why it's so expansive. But either way, welcome back in. 2565764
97.7
is the number to hop into our wacky underdog picks. We've got some wacky ones so far, but not too crazy. Not too crazy. I will say, I was definitely caught off guard by the Florida A&M Howard matchup because I'm going to be honest, guys. I'm not, a top-tier expert where I'm going to know every single matchup. I'm not a Drew DeArmond where I'm going to know every single name in the recruiting world, But I know, the matchups that we need to know. I know the matchups that you guys want to know. I mean, if you're a Howard fan, call in, tell us, who your quarterback is. I could look it up, but I'd rather hear from you. I feel like it would stick with me a little bit better. But either way, a lot of fun we've had on today's episode. A lot of fun we've had all week long, Bandy, even on that weird episode that was the Thursday episode, which if you guys missed it, which I know a lot of you guys probably did, you can go onto our YouTube, WZZN TV, and check out that episode. We had John Liggett from Cherokee Ridge Country Club on with us for half of the show. It's a lot. I love it. Whenever we have the 3 dudes, just like podcast style, I love that stuff.
Just hanging out, just being dudes. But yeah, I saw the Howard Florida A&M match. I'm like, wait a minute, this is a bowl game. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff on ABC. This counts.
It does count. I mean, every single game counts as long as it's got a spread. Even if it doesn't, we will make it have a spread.
Even if it doesn't, we'll make one.
The Holy Cross Army matchup always sticks with me. Either way, today's episode, as every single episode, is presented by Fleming Roofing and Restoration, the guys you need to talk to about all of your roofing needs. If you're having any roofing problems, make sure you look them up online and fill out your free quote today. And remember that Fleming always shows up. You can find them at FlemingHSV.com. Similar to muscles, I like to surprise you guys because muscle memory, you gotta surprise the muscles for it to really stick to those muscles. I gotta surprise you guys with our ad reads so you guys will understand that Fleming is the place to go to for all of your roofing needs. There shouldn't be any other thing that you're even looking at when it comes to the roofing world.
Hey, breaking news.
Ooh, I love it.
Out of the basketball world. 76ers president of basketball operations, Daryl Morey, has agreed on a contract extension through the 2027-2028 season. So all of you Philadelphia 76ers fans, hey, you got Daryl Morey for a couple more seasons. And actually, you know what? I'll give him this. Morey wasn't the problem. It was James Harden.
It was James Harden.
It was always James Harden.
I kind of understand.
And lo and behold, James Harden is gone. Joel Embiid is thriving again. And y'all are on track to getting probably a top 5, top 4 playoff spot in the East.
Very
if
nice.
not better.
That's what I like to hear, Bandy. That is some breaking news in the NBA world.
Yeah, so good stuff for the 76ers. And you know what? Just keep prayers up for Detroit Pistons and Spurs fans.
Oh, my gosh.
Look, they're going to be playing each other eventually. So one of their loss streaks is going to have to end.
Bandy, if I do not bring it up whenever a team does win out of those two, please make me bring it up. Just talk to me. Just tell me. I don't care if you stop whatever talk we're talking about. We could be talking about, national championship. I want you to stop me and say, John.
The Pistons lost again.
No, I want you to say the Pistons actually won another game.
Oh.
That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear updates on whether they're losing because they do that all the time. I want to hear whenever they win because that's some breaking news.
But hey.
What's up?
The big news out of yesterday, though, was that Draymond Green has been suspended indefinitely.
See ya.
You want to know how many times he's been suspended?
I'm going to say 4 times.
3 times.
Okay, 3. That's a little less.
That's this season.
That's still a lot.
That's still way too many.
How many times? Do you know how many times he's got suspended, like, in all times?
It's in the double digits.
Okay. Indefinitely. The guy's just, like, he almost got canceled from the NBA because of his murking streak he's had on the court.
He has been suspended more times than the Pistons have wins.
Golly. That's a good stat right there, Bandy. That is a really good one. Either way, 5 days from now, we're going to have our Christmas party, the Eagle Insulation Christmas Party presented by Talent Heating and Air at Flow Supreme Air on the 20th. Make sure you guys come down there with a present so you can jump with us at Flow. Bandy, we've had a wonderful, wonderful week. We appreciate you guys for listening to us. I'm just now learning that this camera is extremely tall, and we got to get out of here Bandy, we got a lot of college football, a lot of fun to get into this weekend. So for me and the Bandy Man, we'll see you guys next Monday here on The Morning Blitz.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the